This interview is with Marguerite, Oklahoma, Grimes, Holcomb of Nocona, Texas. Conducting the interview for the Oklahoma Historical Society is Roger Harris. Today's date is June the 14th, 1991, and the interview is being conducted in Oklahoma City. Now, Ms. Holcomb, where were you born?
In Hedrick, Oklahoma,
And what year was that?
1907.
And does that account for why you have Oklahoma as a middle name?
That is right. I was born the 11th of November, and Oklahoma was admitted to the Union on the 16th or 17th, I believe it is. It became a state then. So really, I guess you'd say I was born in Indian Territory.
I see. So you were just slightly a sooner on that
Yeah.
name, I guess.
And my uncle wanted me to be, he was kind of in politics,
Your
and he
uncle?
wanted me to be named Oklahoma some way, so they put it as my middle
Now,
name.
who's your uncle?
Uncle John Coleman.
Okay. And he was in politics there in
Well,
Jackson
just
County?
interested in politics.
Oh, I
He
see.
wasn't elected or anything.
And you never did,
He never did proceed that, but
you never did talk to your parents about why they named you Oklahoma? And
well, that's what they told me.
have you ever met anybody else named Oklahoma?
No, I have seen in the paper where there's some, several years ago, they had it in the Daily Oklahoma.
Now, you weren't born in a hospital.
No.
You were born at the farm?
I was born near a little farm in town, pretty close to town.
Uh-huh. You say near the farm? You weren't in? You were at some house?
Yeah, I was at the little farmhouse. We
I
had
see.
2 farms,
I see.
and I wasn't born on the one next to the mountains. I was born next to Hedrick.
I see.
And
So the family had 2 farm places that were separate from each
Mhm.
other. I see. And then you had how many brothers and sisters?
I had 1 half sister and 2 brothers and 2 other sisters.
And you were where age-wise?
I was in the middle. I had 2 brothers, and then I came along, and then 2 sisters.
Uh-huh. And your dad was a farmer?
Farmer.
Mhm. Now, did he have any cattle to speak of?
Only, well, we did raise some for beef.
Uh-huh.
Not to sell especially,
Yeah.
just he belonged to a club, and they would, when it got cool weather, maybe every month, one of them would butcher a beef, and then they'd divide it. One time he'd get the front quarter, and that way I don't know how they preserved it, but we didn't.
So each of the club members then got fresh beef for the family?
Yeah, uh-huh.
That's interesting. Heard of that.
And we divided, the sausage up,
Uh-huh.
but we kept the lard and
Yeah.
most of we kept more of the meat than we let them have. Each one could keep kind of what was their turn to have at that time.
Those cows were just out on the pasture.
Uh-huh.
They weren't.
Well, we fed them.
Oh, you did feed
Yeah,
them?
mhm.
What, you feed them?
We fed them corn and bran and things like that. And my daddy was very helped on giving them plenty of water.
Huh. Uh-huh.
We had to,
Now, did he know anything about cattle to speak of? I mean,
not especially, just
Uh-huh.
he didn't go and raise them, and we had milk cows. We had a lot of milk cows.
Now, your father's name was?
James Henry Grimes.
Right. And he was originally from?
Well, he was born in Grenada, Texas,
Uh-huh.
South Texas. And he came to Oklahoma. Oh, I don't know just when he came, but he came before the Oklahoma became a state, of course, but
Before the turn of the century?
Just about
about
at
that
the
time.
turn of the century. No, it was about, I would say in 1896 probably, or eight,
see.
one of those two. I don't have any record of that exactly, but
Now, did he homestead, or was there already?
yes, he homesteaded one of those places.
I see. And that was, at the time he came, that was still Old Greer County, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or is that correct?
Was what?
Still Greer County, Texas, or had they already?
Well,
No, they'd already made that, hadn't they?
I don't know about that. I don't know whether it was.
That 98, well, whatever. Anyway, now your mother, was she already in that area at that time?
They came along about the time, a little after my daddy came, I guess. They moved there, and my dad needed some help, so he got her daddy and his family to live in the house with him and get board with him, and they could live there, you see. So that's where he met my mother.
I see. Now, what did her father do before that?
Her daddy was just a farmer,
Uh-huh.
I guess you'd call him just a farmer.
Was he originally from this
No.
region of the country, or?
No, my mother was born in Alabama, but I don't know just when they came to Oklahoma. But he lived near Hedrick there's a place southwest of Hedrick where he lived for quite a while.
Uh-huh.
He moved to Tipton
Now
before he died.
And his name was?
Cornelius Solomon Cornelius.
I see. Now, were there other Corneliuses around there that were related, or?
No, most of them lived out around Dodson, and
And where's Dodson?
Dodson is west of Altus,
I see.
and let's see, one of them moved to Wheeler. I don't know whether that's Wheeler County or anyway, it was up further north than Dodson. And
Wheeler, and that's still in Oklahoma, though?
no, that's in Texas.
Texas, Wheeler,
Mhm.
Texas, okay, yes.
It's kind of up in the Panhandle.
Right, it is. Now, but you said there were two places now, did they have a second homestead?
No, I don't know how he came about the little farm down to town. I think he moved down there so we could be close to school.
I see.
And I just don't remember why we had both of them. But
Now
at that time we did.
The bigger farm place was where from Hedrick, which?
Well, it was 5 miles north of Hedrick. It was on it joined the North Fork of Red River and Navajo Mountains over in there.
So the north boundary was the river.
Mhm.
Well, now, when you were growing up, now, in that area, there were a lot of Indians just across the river. Were there Indians that visited?
Well, we didn't see too many right around there. You could see them over at Indiahoma, and a few at Snyder, and as you further west toward Lawton, you could see quite a few of them. But we didn't have any Indians around there that I can remember of.
But did y'all recall when you talked about the Indians, did you recall talking about Comanches, or did you just think of all Indians as Indians?
No, I was trying to think. I believe Comanches is who we
Comanches or
talked about.
Kiowas, or?
Now, my daddy did tell about one time an Indian. See, when he first came there, he dug a little hole in the mountain, kind of a little cave-like, and until he could get his house built, he lived in that, just kind of batched and everything. And he said that an Indian came to his house from over the mountain. He didn't go around the mountain, he came right over the mountain. And horse fell and broke a leg. And so he came and wanted my daddy to let him borrow a horse to go to Lawton that far. He didn't know that it was Lawton then, but he told him, couldn't talk speak very good English, but anyway, he told him he wanted to borrow a horse. Well, my daddy didn't want to let him have the horse, afraid he'd never get it back. He didn't know him, so he told him he would take him. So he saddled up his horse, and then he gave him a horse to ride bareback. And to make a long story short, they just kept on, and he just kept going on, and said, over hill, down valley, further. And finally, they wound up over at Quanah Parker's place in Lawton.
Near the mountains. There.
Yes, and they let him. They was real friendly when he got there. But my dad was just a little bit leery all while he's on that, for fear would kill him, and just for the horses, you know. But they so happened to be friendly, but we'd have my daddy tell that story over and over. We liked it real well when we were kids.
Yeah, yeah. But Quanah Parker wasn't out and around that part of the country by then.
No, I don't think so. But
you were too young to really
yeah.
remember, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't remember too much about it. I just what he would tell us was what we knew.
Now you went to school in Hedrick? I see.
Oh, I went all 12 years there.
Now you were talking about the community around there. Was there another community further north? I recall that there was a pioneer community nearby.
Well, there was Navajo. You know, they call it Friendship now, I think. But we always called it Navajo. It was across the mountains from us, about, as a crow flies, it'd just be about a mile. But you had to go around the mountain and make it farther.
So was there anything left of that little community by the time you were grown up?
Yes, I think it's...
I mean, there were still buildings there?
There's still a few things that's active there, not much, but...
No, I mean when you were a kid. Do you remember that?
Well, my sister taught school there.
Oh, she did?
Yes, my oldest sister did. She taught there 1 or 2 years.
I see. But the little town just kind of died out, didn't it?
Yeah, they just had maybe one grocery store, and I don't know what else, but they didn't have much of anything.
Well, now what was Hedrick like in those days? What kind of businesses?
Well, Hedrick was pretty lively for a while. We had a post office, and we had, about 3 churches, and had a pretty good school. Of course, when I graduated, there were just 12 in the class. But sometimes we had more than that.
Now, what kind of churches were there?
Well, we had the Methodist and the Baptist, and we had the Church of Christ, but they didn't have a building, and they used a schoolhouse. And there may have been another one. We did have, a little short distance from town, a nigger church, and they were pretty active.
Which direction was that?
That was a little bit northeast, more east than north.
Were you talking about a mile or two, or?
Well, just about a mile.
About a mile, I see.
We'd go because we liked their singing.
Were they pretty friendly?
Well, yeah, they was pretty friendly.
Now, there was a general store there in Hedrick?
Oh yes, we had a hardware store. It just had a lot of things in it, and we had a variety store, and we had, I know, probably 2 groceries and 2 restaurants and a filling station when cars came along, or I'm sure we had 1 or 2. I know we had 2. And then they had, like we'd call hamburger places. They had one that was real popular, make good hamburger.
Now, by the time you
lumber yard.
By the time you graduated from high school, now was there a paved highway from Altus or
No.
gravel?
Well, it just dirt.
Just
Yeah,
just
regular
pretty much.
dirt.
I see.
No,
Was it
wasn't put-
maintained by the state at that time that you remember?
I don't remember
Or
whether
just
it
more or
was
less
or
a
not.
path?
It just you just took your chances and went. We just didn't think anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
We just bounced along.
Now, how did you get across the river if you wanted to go to the east?
Well,
You find a crossing, or?
well, there was a crossing that you could go where the water wasn't very deep
Mhm.
sometimes, but there wasn't really a bridge there close to where we were
And you finished high school what year?
in 1925.
Now, so were there quite a number of cars in the area at that time?
Yeah, we had a car then.
But predominantly there was still a lot of horse-drawn?
Yeah, we went to school in a little racer cart.
Mhm. A
And
racer car?
little
yeah.
racer cart. Well, it had, like you put one pony, you know, it had
Right.
the shafts, and then they had a seat. Really, it was just built for one person.
Mm-hmm.
But two of we kids sat in that, and the other two sat down in the bottom of it, and we drove to school in that. And on the back of it, we had the feed for the horses, noon meal.
I
Had a
see.
box with that.
So a horse would just stay outside of the school?
Yeah, we just tied it to
And there
post
were other
out
children
there.
did similar
a,
to that? Anybody just plain ride a horse?
yeah,
Yeah.
rode horses.
And so-
There's very few cars at school,
Yeah.
parked at school, because there's very few, not too many had them.
Now, do some of the kids walk?
Yeah, they walked.
I mean, a distance from outside of town? Or?
Yeah, up until I was 9 years old, I walked to school. We lived right, just not too far from, I'd say it's 3/4 of a mile,
I see.
and we walked nearly all the time.
Yeah. But when you move further away, then you really,
Yeah, we had to ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when we got cars, well, we'd go and we'd share with the neighbors. They'd ride with us to one time, we'd ride with them another time.
Now, can you remember some of the subjects you studied in high school?
Well, yes, we had English in freshman class. We had English and Algebra 1 and let's see. Anyway, there's four subjects if I can think of the other two. History, American history, and see, there's another one. Oh, it's general science.
I see.
That's what we had.
Uh-huh.
And then as you went up, you went into geometry and advanced algebra and things
Mhm.
like that.
Can you remember your school teachers in high school?
Well, yeah, some of them I can.
Some of them you remember.
Uh-huh.
When you graduated now, what was what kind of ceremonies did they have at the end of school?
Well, we always had a baccalaureate sermon on the Sunday before we graduated. And we had that. Then, say Thursday or Friday of that same week, we would have the graduating exercises. And it's pretty much like they do now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had went and got your diploma
Mm-hmm.
and
Did you wear a cap and gown?
no, I didn't. That was the last year they wore just civilian clothes, I guess
Yeah,
you'd say.
yeah.
Because the next year, they started wearing caps and gowns. And we always had to have a special dress for baccalaureate, and one for graduation, and one for the banquet.
Uh-huh. Now, what was the banquet like?
It was, the juniors gave the seniors a banquet,
Mhm.
see. That was the first year they did that, too. It was the last year I was in school.
I see.
From then on, they did that. Had the
But
banquet.
they didn't have a dance
No, we didn't have
no
a
dance.
dance.
at that. And did they have any kind of entertainment at the banquet?
Oh,
or-
yeah. We had a speaker, and then a lot of times they had a lot of funny things, you know, about the different characters of school,
Different classmates and whatnot.
different classmates, and
Teachers.
bring out some points that were just ribbing them and everything.
Right. Now, you were talking earlier about your family. Do you remember some of the activities your family did for recreation?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun in our lives. We had a great big concrete porch, and every night in the summer we got out there and sung, you know, and we just sang, you know, top of the voice, nobody could hear. And
what kind of stuff did you sing?
well, we just sang religious songs, and one thing a lot of times we'd sing religious songs, and your mother would, she'd say, let's sing number so and so, and I'd look it up, and I said, I don't know that song. She said, I do. You don't know it? I said, no. And she'd start singing it, making up the tune, you see. And that way I could tell, because tears had come in her eyes every time she'd play. But we'd sing that, and then my daddy, one of the songs I can remember him singing was "Work for the Night Is Coming."
Mm-hmm.
I think he just loved that song. And then on Sundays, if we had the smallpox one time and we couldn't go anywhere, so my daddy and mother decided they'd take us on a picnic, or, you know, because we just couldn't go anywhere, and we'd go down in the pasture and take. Oh, we had good food, homemade fried bread and ham and fried potatoes and just everything you'd think of, and cakes and pies. We had just a lot of fun in our lives.
Now, was anybody play a musical instrument in the family?
My daddy played the fiddle.
Mm-hmm. Did he play out on the porch sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes he did. He played like Arkansas Traveler and those breakdowns.
Now, did he hold the fiddle up under his neck like
Yeah.
a violin player?
Yeah.
Pretty much like that. Where did he learn to play, do you ever say?
Well, I don't know where he learned. I think he just sort of self-taught.
Yeah. Those that was down in Texas?
Well, I guess so. I don't know. I wasn't real interested in it at that time, and I never did find out just why he started on that. But I know that he did tell my mother in one of his love letters that he was sorry she was out of town, and he said, I've just been around playing my fiddle to pass the time away, but it wasn't passed away as pleasantly as it would have been had I been with you.
Mm-hmm.
So he was playing it then. That's before they married.
Yeah. Now he was writing, where was he living when he was writing those letters?
Well, he was living there in his own house. See, they were living with him, but they wrote notes.
I see, I see.
Put it in his overcoat pocket on the stairway.
I see. Was that common for kids to do that in those days? I say kids, he wasn't a kid.
Well,
was he?
no, I don't know. That was just their way.
That's what that was? Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Now, you went off to school then?
In 1925. In August, the last day of August, 1925.
And where did you go?
Went to Stillwater, Oklahoma A&M.
Now, how did you come to decide to go there?
The reason, we had a family there that was real close, friends to Mother and Dad both. And their 2 sons and their daughter was going. So they decided that I could go with them and I'd be safe. So that's where I went, with the Collins family. He was a rural mail carrier there.
Now, what was his first name?
I can't think of his first name.
Was that?
It's Wilkie Collins. I believe it was Wilkie Collins. He had a son named Wilkie, and I think his name was Wilkie. And they had about the same age group family as ours.
Now, you had never been to Stillwater before, had
No,
you?
never did.
How did you get there to go to school?
Well, we went in I'm sure it was a Model T, and we had a trailer fixed on the back of it with no trailer hitch or anything. It was just tied onto the bumper, I guess. And it'd just go every way. You know, we just had to watch that. It'd just twist and turn. And we just spent most of our time watching it, and sometimes we'd have to get out and fix it. But we went the whole distance.
Now, did you go through some towns on the way, or?
Yeah, we went up Well, I came through Oklahoma City, and then we went to, from there, we went to Stillwater, but I don't know what towns we went through.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And how long did it, you must have spent the night on the road, at least one night, didn't you?
No, but going home at Christmas, we drove all night and had car trouble all night. It took us all night to get home.
So you could make it in one day then?
Yeah, we made it in one day. We left real early, I think about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that was a very long trip then. wasn't
Yeah, it was. It was a long
Yeah.
trip. But there was the 2 Collins boys and their daughter and me and a girl from Alpha's all went in that car and carried our luggage.
No
And we
wonder
all
you had,
had trunks.
no wonder you had a trailer. You needed that trailer, didn't you?
We needed the U-Haul.
Yeah. Now, what was Stillwater like in those days, the town itself?
Well, it was so much smaller than
Yeah.
it is now. I'm sure I haven't been back in years and years. But one thing about it, it was, well, the college was 13 blocks from town, and we had to walk it because we weren't allowed to get in a car unless you were with your mother or daddy or somebody. That was one of the rules.
There wasn't a dormitory?
Yes, they had a dormitory, but I stayed out with at the Deals, and this Mr. Deal was with the Agricultural Extension Service, and I had one of the girls from home was staying with them and taking care of their children when they needed her, and they let me room with her. And that was on 310 Lincoln Street. That was about 4 blocks from campus. And we'd walk over there to classes.
But they did not, they forbid the...
They wouldn't let you get in a car. You weren't, if someone in your family came, you had to go to the, some office, I don't know, just remember what.
Dean of Women, or was it did they have such?
Yes, they had a dean of women, but see, I didn't stay in a dorm, so
I see.
she didn't have any control over me.
Uh-huh.
But we went to our classes, just walked to the classes and walked to the cafeteria and ate there part of the time.
Well, what was that? Was the cafeteria? I'm not sure I understand. The cafeteria was on campus, it was?
Yes, it's on campus, but I just don't, I can't tell you.
Can't tell which building or anything
I
like
don't know
that?
which building it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were there, what were some of the courses you took that first year?
Well, I just took, I entered the School of Education, and I had chemistry, and I didn't have any background for chemistry other than general science.
Mhm.
But I liked that better than anything I had.
So you did okay in that then?
I did all right in that, and then I had one education class and one, of course, we had a PE class, and I'm trying to think of that. Well, I had a math course, but I can't remember what it was. It was either advanced arithmetic or algebra 2, or no, it couldn't have been algebra 2. I don't know what, but I had some sort of I don't know what it was.
Now you were talking about having to walk to school there from town to the campus at A&M when you started. Now what happens if were the boys and girls able to go out on dates and that kind of thing?
Yeah, they were able to go on dates and everything, but not in a car.
Not in a car. Now was that because it was the danger of having a wreck, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was for, but you sure, well, I just don't know if that was one of the rules, and we sure went by it too.
I see. Okay. Well, I want to look at your annual here, and this is from 1926, the Redskin at A&M. And the first photograph here
Now,
is
we had English in this building here.
English, and that is in Old Central. Yes, that's Old
I
Central.
guess so.
So they taught English in that. That looks pretty good in that
Uh-huh.
photograph. And then this is a fairly, this building was fairly new at that time.
Yeah,
This is
it-
Morrill Hall.
Yeah, I know. Well, I had agriculture, that's one of my,
Well, that's,
in
yeah,
that building, we met, and he lectured and we listened.
I see. And then the next building here, do you remember which one this is?
I don't know what that one is.
Okay, I can't identify that either.
I bet it's,
Now, you say you had agriculture in Morrill Hall?
yeah,
So you took an agriculture course?
you had to,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, you had to take 1 year.
Really? Well, that's interesting. Now,
It was easy, I loved it.
I don't recognize this either.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, no, we're looking down the steps, I believe, from Morrill Hall here. if
Yeah.
I'm correct. There's a street in front, and there's a car here, and this is that a T, that's a T model. That's
Yeah.
a fairly, probably nearly new one, would you guess?
Probably is.
I can't tell if that's a car or,
Yeah, that's a car too, see?
okay, so,
As well as I remember, that was the auditorium, is that right? It looks similar to what it looked like then, but I don't know.
no, I don't think so, but I don't recall the name of that
They
building.
may have changed that. Now there's where I had chemistry.
Okay. And this is another shot here showing a couple old cars here. They
Yeah.
say, oh, they were new in those days, I guess, weren't they?
And that's one of the dorms.
Uh-huh. This is the building immediately to the east of Morrill Hall, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Looks good.
Somebody wrote that in there.
So, now that was Dr.
Bradford Knapp.
Yeah. Are there other parts to the annual that you were interested in particular?
Well, let's see.
You have your,
Now, no, that's not the one. Now, this was my agricultural teacher right here.
I see.
I can't remember his name, but anyway, I remember his face.
Uh-huh.
And this is Mr. Deal, where I lived on
Lived,
310. Of course, we didn't see much of him because he's on the road most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the School of Commerce, and Dr. J.W. Scott. He and his family were so nice with me. To me, I kept their children some when they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of my teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I
Home
had.
economics teacher?
Yeah. I just had to meet for something for that. Now, he's a dean of education. And now, she was one of my teachers, too. Catherine Long.
Catherine Long. Okay. Now, are you in the class?
In the freshman class.
Yeah.
Now, this was Tom Basier. He was from home.
Uh-huh.
He's in the in the senior or else the graduate class. I don't remember which it was.
Uh-huh. Well, let's turn over here to where you are.
Well, and this, he was very active in this is Calvin Potts. He was from Hedrick, too.
I see.
Oh, let's see, I'm way over here.
How many students do you know about how many were
I
there?
just don't know. I don't have any way of knowing.
Well, they're all here. I guess we could count them
Yeah,
if we
we
really
could.
want to know, couldn't we?
That's a sophomore. Get over here. Now, here's the freshman. Right here I am, right here. Right there.
Well, that's a good picture.
And let's see.
Now, what was the fashion in those days? Now, hair's pretty short on some of these women
Yep,
here.
I know it. Well, I'll
see.
tell you, in women's, spit curls.
Spit curls.
If you'll notice, some of them really have some fancy ones on here.
Now here's some pretty pronounced bangs. That
Yeah,
almost
I
looks
know.
like the.
Look at, now, see that one single spit curl, they called it.
Uh-huh. Now, the 20s craze was pretty strong. Were there any flappers in the?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's lots of flappers.
Yeah.
And we had, we tried to do the Charleston.
Yeah.
That was.
Did they do that on campus or?
No, we just did it, you know, when we'd have parties and things.
Yeah. Did they have dances on campus that you
Well,
recall?
I can't remember, I guess they did, but in physical education, we took Russian clog dance. We did that Russian clog dance.
You did?
Yeah.
Now, how did they hit on
I
that?
don't know why. They just, and then also we had swimming. Well, you could take swimming or basketball, and I couldn't do either one very good, so I
Yeah.
took swimming. I knew I couldn't do the basketball.
Well, now, when you went to class, you wore a dress every day to class,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, did they have short skirts in those days, or?
No, well, they came about between mid-calf and just below the knee. They wasn't real long, and they wasn't real short.
Uh-huh. But they didn't have there was a minimum number of petticoats in those days, right?
They did. Well, if you went to a party, you wore a taffeta petticoat sometimes with certain kinds of dresses.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to show you over here if I can find it.
Now we're going to put up the annual now.
Well, whatever you say.
Okay.
Now here's some of the pictures of.
Are these family members now?
These are this is
Old school?
members of school there.
I see.
Now right here, you can kind of see the dresses that they wore.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like pants, but it's not. And here, see, sweaters and skirts is pretty popular then.
So, yeah,
It's very much like we're wearing now.
It is indeed, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Now these are all friends, and we'd meet out
Mhm.
at the park and have picnics and things.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see the mode of dress. Let's see. Most of the men dressed up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go sloppy.
Right. Mostly worn ties, huh?
Yeah.
To class?
Yeah, now these are all real. This was my first date.
Well, who was he? Who was he?
His name was Sasser, Floyd Sasser.
Uh-huh.
And he married my best friend, this one right here,
Who was?
Francis Dyer. That's who that was.
Uh-huh.
And I used to hear from him. Of course, he's gone, and I haven't heard from her, and I believe she's already gone the last few years. I thought we could see the. Now those are not. Those are Marlowe folks,
I see.
and this is all.
Okay, now you stayed at A&M how long?
I just stayed there just one semester.
And what made you decide to leave?
Ran out of money.
That's that's happened before to other folks.
Now these are all of these are friends in the crowd. See, we wore hats.
Uh-huh.
You know, this is a Collins. She's from Hedrick, and I am, and she's from Altus.
Now, what's this hat called?
Well, it's just a hat.
Don't remember the name of that?
I don't know what it's called.
Looks almost like a British Bobby's hat, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they wore those.
Now, what happened after you left school? Did you go back to the farm, or?
No, I went to Marlowe and went to work in a dry goods store.
Now, why Marlowe? Is that?
Because my sister lived there. My
Okay.
oldest sister lived there, and he was manager of a store, and he gave me a job working in the store.
Your sister's husband,
Mhm.
and he was.
He was manager of this store.
Okay, and what was his name?
Claude White,
Okay. So that was your sister,
my oldest sister.
the older sister, Isla? Then?
Isla's husband.
Okay. And you worked in the store?
Yeah, I worked in the store.
Now what? Then you live with them as well?
Yes, I lived with them part of the time, and part of the time my brother and I rented a house and lived in it.
Now which brother is that?
Only
Okay.
one
And
was
what did he do?
over. He was with the construction, road construction.
Was that?
I don't know whether it was state or county, but anyway, that's what he did. This bridge down at close to, I don't know, Comanche or somewhere. I don't know where it is. He built, I mean, he didn't build it, but he was the inspector of the materials that went into the building. See, into building the bridge. It's the one that they enlarged lately. You may have noticed that.
Now, when you went to work in the dry goods store, when you say dry goods store, you mean clothing?
Clothing and material, and ladies and men's clothing and material, shoes, piece goods,
I see.
notions, thread,
Right.
just everything.
Yeah. And did you work in a particular department, or did
No,
you have to
just all over the store.
wherever you were needed? What do you remember? What you earned in that?
No, I can't remember what I just don't know. I've wondered about that a lot of times, but I can't no more remember what I made than nothing.
Well,
It's just enough that I could get along, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And I could buy some things. Anyway, I bought 2 coats that year. So I'd save my money, and if I found something I wanted, and buy it.
Yeah. Now, you ate most of your meals at home when you were working there?
Yeah.
And how long did you work at the dry goods store?
Well, let's see. I went to work in, I would say, March of 26, and I worked till June of 27, and then I married.
Yeah. Now, how did you meet your husband?
He was a driller in the oil field, and he was drilling a well out at Bray,
And that's,
east of Marlow.
yeah. So there was a lot of, the industry was just starting up
Yeah,
at that time, that area.
There's a lot of that drilling going on around
And
east of Marlow and Duncan and all around there, quite a bit.
the oil industry, even the lowest paid folks made pretty
Yeah.
good income in those days,
Yeah,
did
they
they
did.
not? But a driller would do even better than
Yeah.
that.
The only thing about that kind of a job is that if you finished a well, maybe they wouldn't have another job for a while. You'd have to be sure and save your money for those times when you wouldn't be working. But it run pretty good.
Now, when they were drilling in those days, did they use derricks? Were they using?
Yeah, they used derricks. He did. But they had some of those sputters, they called them, that they didn't use it.
And the derricks were all made of wood, right?
Yeah.
And who built the derrick then?
Well, they had rig builders
Yeah.
that came in and did that.
So the driller was responsible for,
For drilling the hole,
right,
you know, and taking the core and all that.
right. Yeah. So he actually, so it was kind of a combination of several things, wasn't it? Now, how long did you stay around Marlow then?
No, we went to, he got a job in Nakoma, Texas, and we moved down there. Or he moved down there, and then we married the 29th of May in 1927.
Now, was he originally from that part of Texas?
No, he was born in Electra, Texas, and lived around Vernon and Electra and Davidson, Oklahoma, and I guess that's the main places.
Yeah, so he actually kind of grew up not that far from where you did.
I know it.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
you had not met out in there.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't meet till at Marlowe.
Yeah. So he had a job in Nocona, and or near Nocona, you said?
Yeah.
And you moved right after you were married to?
To Nocona.
Uh-huh. Now, did you continue to work after you moved there? Or?
Yes, I worked, well, that fall I worked just at a variety store during the Christmas rush, because that was pretty good business at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved back to Marlowe, and I worked in a store, in this same store, and he worked in a clothing store just a block up the street.
You moved back?
Mm-hmm. And we lived there about a year, and then we went to Wichita Falls. And from Wichita Falls, we went to Burke Burnett.
Now you moved back to Marlowe. What, do you remember the names of the stores?
Yes, this was Baker Hannah Brothers, where I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the store that he worked was, well, it was a men's clothing store. And I can't think of the man's name now. It was on the corner, on the Highway 82 and Main Street, right on the corner.
Mm-hmm. But it was strictly men's goods.
Yeah, it was strictly men's stuff.
And you were back doing essentially what you were doing before.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, was that a chain store that?
Yes, it was a chain store.
Yeah. So, well, and then you moved to Wichita Falls. What encouraged you to do that?
Well, he had a drilling job
Another
there.
drilling job.
And
Was
so-
that part of the Burke Burnett field, or?
Well, no, when he first moved there, no, it wasn't. It was around Holiday, Texas, and
Right. Mm-hmm.
down in that area. And then he drilled, well, we moved to Burke Burnett, and he drilled some wells out from there some way. I don't know. which
You
way.
didn't live in Holiday, though, did you? You
No,
lived in Wichita Falls?
we lived in Wichita and drove back and forth.
Yeah. What kind of car were you driving in those days?
Oldsmobile.
Was that a fairly new model, or?
Well, it was new in 1927.
I see.
It's new when we married.
And then you moved to Burke Burnett,
Yeah.
which was it just coming in at that time, the field, or
No,
was it
no.
was well established?
It was well established. They had
Rigs everywhere.
rigs right in town. It's right around everywhere.
Yeah. What was that town like?
Well, it is what you'd call an oil field town. But we didn't live there too long. Then we moved back to Nocona.
Now, how did you decide to move back to Nocona?
Well, he got a job down there. They opened up, it's kind of a slump in the oil business, and they called him to come back. That's going to drill some more wells, so we went back.
Was that pretty much the experience that you knew other people in the oil business too? And
Uh-huh.
was that the experience of the oil worker in those days? Is kind of hot and cold, on and off work?
Yeah, it was awkward. What you had to do is to save your money, because and a lot of them didn't realize it, because you knew if you made, of course, $600 a month was good. If you made $600 a month, you didn't spend all that. You held it back for harder times.
Just so we get some idea, now $600 a month, 27, 28, when Model A came out, you could buy a Model A for about that, couldn't
Yeah.
you?
Uh-huh.
A new car. So that was
And
pretty.
we thought $10 a day was good pay.
Yeah,
12 sometimes.
yeah. And then when you moved back to Nocona, now what did you
Well,
work at that time?
Most of the time that I worked, in 1942 I started to work, and I never did quit till I retired.
Yeah. Now Nocona was there what originally established that community?
Well, I guess what established that community was moving the railroad there. See, when they moved the railroad there, or built the railroad, I guess you'd say, why different businesses came in because they wanted the use of the railway. See,
I see.
I know the Nakona Boot Company, that's the reason they're there, and they're still there. And they came there and moved their business from Spanish Fort to Nakona, and they just,
Now, Spanish Fort is about how far from Oklahoma?
it's about maybe 21 or 2 miles.
And it was a very old community.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
very old.
And that's what, northwest of Nocona, something
Yeah,
like that?
northeast, just northeast.
Yeah. And,
It's still a little town, but not very active.
yeah. And it had been there since,
Oh, it's been there way back. They had Indian wars and things there. A lot of it.
yeah. But Nocona Boot was actually in Spanish Fort at one time?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was in Spanish.
Now talk about that a little bit. Now you worked for Nocona Boot from
I worked
40.
let's see, I worked there. I started in 52.
52 or 42?
52 when I started out there. I worked 25 years
I see.
from that time. I went out there in January of 92 and retired in 76 or 7.
Well, let me back up a minute though. But what did you do during the early 40s then in Nocona? Did you
I worked in a dry goods store,
I see.
and then I worked as manager of a dress shop, and then I went out to the boot company.
Okay, now Nocona was fairly prosperous in those days,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And you went to work for the boot company, and what was your first job there?
Well, it was well, later I found out what my title was, is Director of Production Control. And you were supposed to write out work tickets for each day, so many they give you to make so many boots a day.
Uh-huh.
And you'd have to make those work tickets up. And by making them up, I mean you had to tell what went into the boot, how the height, and if it had a scallop on it, what kind of leather, what kind of toe, heel, arch, everything about it. Stitch pattern and all that. You had, and the lining material and everything. And then you had to write this ticket out, and it went through each department. The cutting, the leather room, they issued the leather, and then cutting room, and the fitting room, and stitching room, and
Now wait a minute, the fitting room, now what's that mean?
that's fitting the uppers to the lower, the foot to the boot
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Yeah. It's real interesting, you know.
But now, they were custom ordered boots?
Well, they carried so many in stock, but really what I had charge of was the special makeups, but I had to also see that there was enough stock put in to take care of the orders, you know. But there'd be people that would write in, for instance, like this, and they'd want a boot made with a hamburger on it. And we made one, and it absolutely looked like
a hamburger.
It looked like hamburger. Even the lettuce looked. A man called in and asked me to see about his boot. You know, that was a boot.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, well, I have just been through the factory and saw that boot, and I said, it's going to be ready to ship tomorrow, and I feel like that you'll say it's a masterpiece. So when he got it, he called me back, and he said, you're right, it is a masterpiece. Of course, I didn't have anything to do with it or write out the ticket. It was a designer who did it.
Right.
He was excellent.
Yeah. Well, now, the boot company, though, can you remember the history of the boot company? It was, who started, actually, the business?
Well, the Nakona Boot Company, Miss Annie Justin.
Now, her dad was...
Her dad was Joe Justin.
And he was a boot maker, right?
He was a bootmaker. He came from up north somewhere, and he landed in Spanish Fort with just a quarter. That's all the money he had.
I see.
And he started making boots and just selling them, mail order boots, you know. Somebody would see the boots and they'd write in, and he'd make them.
So he was kind of like more of a cobbler then.
Yeah. And so then when the railroad came in, he moved, and it just flourished, you know, because by that time they were wearing a lot of cowboy boots.
Now, but do you have a vague idea of when he was first working there at Spanish Fort? That must have been a good while before that.
Yeah, it was a long time before that. Well, let's see. It was before Enid was born or any of them, and she would be 97 if she's living.
Yeah, so Ms. Justin came to Nocona, and
Well,
right.
she was born, I guess it's Spanish Fort, I'm not for sure, but she moved there, and then she worked for her daddy. And she learned to stitch the boots and everything.
Now, so Miss Justin, Enid Justin, sort of put together the manufacturing process.
The reason she started the Nocona Boot Company, it was the Justin Boot Company when her daddy was running it. But her daddy died, of course, and her mother died, and her brothers wanted to move the factory to Fort Worth, and she didn't want to. So she stayed and organized the Nocona Boot Company. And I think it was 1925, I won't say for sure. And then things got kind of slump came along, and so she started, and the oil business came. Well, they didn't wear cowboy boots, so she started making lace boots, having them make lace boots, and that went over just big, you know.
Now, was that lace boots like we think of work boots today, or were they kind of something?
Well, they was real nice looking boots, you know. They came up high and more, they just shined so pretty, and pretty leather, you know. It'd be out of English calf or something like that, would just polish real good and wouldn't snag. And they're made real pretty, and they're made tall, most of them. And then she got to making the shorter boot for work, you know, and that would oil resistant, so that made it a pretty good deal. But she just kept on. Somebody told her several years before I quit work there, she was more like a friend than a boss or anything. She said, well, Mr. whoever so-and-so that did her CPA work, she said, he tells me I'm a millionaire, but he said, all I care about is just having money to pay my bills. But she did so much for the town. She did.
In more ways than one. Huh?
Yeah, more ways than one.
Yeah, provide a lot of
Yeah.
employment as well as other things too. Now, you would get like an order, and let's say someone would either write or phone the company, and then you'd take that information and turn it into the information needed for the
To make a boot. You had tickets to go by, write out, place for the height, the leather, the lining, the heel, the toe, the stitch pattern, and shank, and
So you dealt directly with the folks that received the boots, or at least did stores order sometimes custom boots?
Oh yes, yeah.
That was the majority of it?
We had a majority of them, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, stores. We had stores everywhere.
Now, were there individuals that ordered boots as well?
Yes, individual.
Do you remember any well-known folks that you dealt with?
Oh my, we made them for King of somewhere. Let's see, who was it? David Niven. I remember us making some of them, and we've made them for clowns, and we've made them for cowboys. You know, it's special cowboys, and Oh.
Any movie stars?
Yeah, I can think of, I mean, I can't think of their names, but we made them for a lot of movie stars.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
TV, cowboys and that sort of thing.
I just can't think of the name of some of those men. And that little Johnny Crawford, you know?
Yes, yes.
Well, he came and we made him a pair of boots.
Uh-huh.
And he came there and it was fitting.
Uh-huh.
And I can't think of any of those.
Now, were you were, the company steadily grew while you were there,
Yeah,
didn't it?
oh yeah, it grew.
And then,
It's still growing.
yeah. So even though the slump that hit it after the Western clothes craze kind of went out in the late 80s.
Well, what they did then, they started making ladies fancy looking ropers, you know, a
Right.
flat heel thing, and they went over big.
Mm-hmm.
I really was surprised at those. And then the cowboy boots, there's a lot of people wear them whether they were stylish or not.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
fit their feet good. And then we had a man that took measurements and made them to fit their feet.
Mm-hmm.
If they had, you know,
Something
bunions and
unusual,
calf-
yeah.
they fixed that.
And you got repeat customers, I
Yeah.
guess, as a result of that kind of thing. So you left there after how many years?
25.
Yeah. And continue to do the same job essentially all through the time that you were there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting now that part of Texas has modernized in terms of cars and
Yeah.
electronics and all that kind of stuff. Do you think it's much different than it used to be years
Well-
ago in terms of the people that live there?
Oh, you mean what now about the people?
Well, I'm saying, do you think that the community is similar to the way it used to be?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's still a good community feeling
Yeah,
there.
it's a good community and have a lot of active churches.
Mhm.
And then we have this senior citizen building that is very active for people that are retired.
Yeah.
And they can go there and they have meals on wheels and
Well, I want to ask you something sort of unrelated to all that, but the county that Nocona is in is Montague County,
Mhm.
right? Which has what towns in it? Can you
well,
recall those for me?
yes, it has. Montague is the county seat, the least. It's the least town.
And Montague probably has how many people living
Oh,
there?
I bet they don't have over 500. But they may.
Is it that big? Is it?
Yeah, I guess it is. Well, now I don't know. Right in town, it may not be that
But
big.
it has a county seat,
Yeah,
right?
I guess most of their, if you want to call them, are inmates.
Inmates of it. I see.
But, well, then there's St. Joe and Nocona and Bowie and Forestburg and Ringo. And I believe that's all of them.
Well, between
Of course, Spanish Fort
yeah,
and Illinois Bend, they're just little
yeah,
places.
yeah.
Bonita and Belcherville, they're little. They're just nearly dead.
Well, I appreciate you taking this time
Well,
to visit with me today.
I've enjoyed it, reminiscing.
And this concludes this interview with Marguerite Holcomb.